Back at Payrow Plaza between Bethlehem City Hall and Bethlehem Public Library. I just was saying in part one before I got drowned out. A lot of good points were made by multiple speakers here. Unfortunately, I did get Congresswoman Susan Wild and Mayor Bethlehem, but a couple of them were just kind of hard to hear, honestly. But several good points were made. Universal background checks. You know what? I don't own a firearm. I'm not anti-gun. I'm not pro-gun. I'm the type of person where you should have a right to own one. But like everything else, including the media, us, there's a responsibility that goes along with it, which is sometimes forgotten about. Okay, if you can pass a universal background check where you have no criminal record or no major felonies or whatever the qualifications are, no major mental health problems, then you should be able to own a gun. A lot of people go out there, hey, I mean, if I can afford it and if I felt like dropping the money onto it, I'd go out and get a handgun like a 9mm or something just to go to the fire range and blow off steam. You know what I mean? So yeah, a lot of good points were made, but some important points, at least in my opinion, were missed. Although Bethlehem Mayor did touch on that, where he said it's our culture that has to change. It's our, basically our society has to change, and that's also something that everybody's missing. When you choose to pick up a weapon, whether it's, a cell phone realistically could be a weapon, whether it's a gun. New York State's had a major problem with stabbings, a knife, and you go and kill someone. That is your choice. Okay, now I realize that it's very difficult, if not close to impossible, to isolate every reason and, there were signs, this person did it. It's impossible to do that, realistically, probably, I wouldn't say damn close, but almost impossible. But since the Vietnam War, I was born in 1971, at the tail end of it, we have become immune to everything as a society in general and as human beings. We are so inundated from the news media. And I grew up in the Atari age. I remember, oh my God, that person was killed. Blame it on Doom. Blame it on video games. Blame it on the violence in the movies. But it's not the individual. It's the combination of news media, social media, video games, movies, music, everything that we see every day of our lives that our few generations after mine, Generation X, were basically from the home we're brought home. We are inundated, and it has basically made the human race immune to everything. Nothing shocks us anymore, and that's one major problem that wasn't addressed here, and that I never hear. In fact, I know several years ago after the nightclub shooting in, I think it was Miami or down Florida, where I asked a couple politicians, or I'm like, hey, I'm like, what about this? Nothing. I said, okay, fine. Let's ban the guns. What are you going to do about what are you doing about the illegal guns on the streets? Silence. Okay, fine. We'll take away and Susan Wild did stress that, we're not trying to take away the guns. We're trying to create laws that make sense. And I will give her a lot of credit on that. But here's, if you can't get a gun legally, you're going to get it illegally. If you can't get that gun, like up in New York, you're getting, don't mean to pick on New York, love and respect, love the city and people and businesses, but, from the headlines I see, you realize that in a crowded situation, how many people you could take down with a blade? Granted, maybe not kill them, but it's the same effect. So it's like an old friend of mine who works here at the library mentioned, she's like, yeah, it's a multifaceted issue, and it's a very complex puzzle with a lot of pieces that all need to fit perfectly. Well, it's never going to happen. But we need to start addressing, like when somebody here mentioned about mental health. Another side of it. We need to stop focusing on one or two pieces or one or two aspects of the situation and start looking at the broader. Okay, what's causing this? Can we, are there not group people, but can we at least see some common traits as far as what's going on here? I mean, the mass shootings and the shootings in general, and violence in general, that's part of our human nature. Unfortunately, it's who we are. But it's the choice. It's a choice. It's the personal choice to say, you know what? I'm going to pick up a gun. I'm going to pick up a blade. I'm going to pick up a rock, and I'm going to go out, and whether it's a single person or just random, I'm going to hurt someone. I'm going to kill someone. That is it. It all boils down to that personal choice that is made. That person picking up the gun, loading it, walking into that crowd, walking up to another human being, and saying, guess what? Your life is over. And that's something I couldn't do. I don't see how any person could do. A choice anyone can make. Now, several years ago, indoor gun range and archery range in south side of Easton. I covered an event there. Before that, I shot 22 in Boy Scouts when I was a teenager, 22 rifle. Target practice, I suck, trust me. Even point blank range, I probably missed the target. But anyway, I don't mean to make light of the situation. But for the first time in my life, I picked up a 9mm handgun. And even before I loaded it, when I touched that handgun, my first thought was, this is how easy it is to take a life. And when I loaded it, and I pulled it back and loaded one, and pulled the hammer back and loaded one in the chamber, it wasn't, oh wow, this is cool, I'm shooting, I'm going to finally shoot a handgun for the first time in my life. This is, it was with respect for the weapon and the machine that I was holding. It was respect for what I could do with that weapon and machine. Just in case you're curious how I did on target practice, I went for the arms. I did not go for any kill shots. I went to disable, not kill. But that was my reaction. It wasn't, oh wow, this is so cool, I can finally shoot a handgun and everything else. No. It was with reverence and respect for what I was about to even though it was only target practice, and for the weapon and the machine that I was holding. Take care, everybody. To your family and friends out there. Please stay safe.